chosen ones. I know the weight you've carried, the nights you cried in silence, wondering if anyone truly saw your pain, the days you walked through fire while the world looked away, feeling abandoned, yet still refusing to break. You've been misunderstood, betrayed, stretched beyond your limits, and still you kept going. I see it. God sees it. Every scar you carry is not weakness. It is proof that you were forged in a furnace meant to destroy you. But instead, it refined you. You are not here by accident. You are here because heaven has watched every battle, every tear, every lonely step, and now, the secret that was hidden is finally being revealed. Comment 777 if you can feel the weight of this moment in your spirit. To every one of you who has supported this channel, especially through Super Thanks, I speak my deepest gratitude because your faith and encouragement make this message possible. You are not just watching, you are part of this unfolding prophecy, chosen ones. Listen carefully. Your life is on the brink of a seismic shift. Everything you prayed for in silence, everything you carried in pain, everything you thought was lost, God has been preparing to release it all at once. The dam is breaking, the river is rising, and nothing will stop what is about to flood your destiny. The question is, are you ready to receive what God has been holding back for this exact moment? Now, let us step into the revelation itself. God's chosen ones. Why can't God hide this secret any longer from you? Picture this, your body no longer weighed down, but rising with new strength, your mind no longer clouded, but illuminated with clarity, your heart no longer heavy, but carried by divine light. This is not the fantasy of a restless dreamer, it is the unfolding promise of God Himself. The psalmist once wrote, "Take delight in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." Psalm 37:4. Could it be that the very desires burning in you, those longings no one else understands, were planted by His own hand? They are not random. They are not accidents. They are blueprints from eternity, waiting for the right moment to burst into life. But here lies the mystery. Blessings do not simply fall like loose fruit into open palms. They require pursuit, faith, and the bold act of claiming them. How many chosen ones have missed their inheritance because they hesitated at the threshold? Jesus Himself declared, "Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you." Matthew 7:7. Have you been knocking with persistence? Or have you grown weary at the closed doors of life? The truth is, the heavens are listening for signals, small but powerful declarations that you are ready. Even something as simple as lifting your voice, raising your hand, or aligning your actions becomes a spiritual frequency resonating with the divine. That is why today is not casual. It is a covenant. When you make even the smallest declaration, such as aligning with the number 777, a number many have recognized as carrying divine energy, it becomes more than a symbol. It becomes an act of resonance, a signal echoing back into the heavens that you are stepping into God's alignment. But pause for a moment and ask yourself, why you? Why now? Why has heaven singled out your story in this exact season? From the beginning, you were marked as different. Even in your deepest doubts, God saw light where others saw flaws. He set you apart for a purpose others could not carry. The Apostle Peter reminds us, "But you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light. 1 Peter 2-9. This chosenness is not just identity, it is assignment. The world might ignore it today. But when the blessings begin to flow and transformation sweeps your life, denial will no longer be possible. Think for a moment about Joseph, that young dreamer betrayed by his brothers, sold like an object, chained in Egypt, thrown into prison, and forgotten even by those he helped. Did despair consume him? No. He held to God's plan when every visible sign screamed otherwise. Then suddenly, in a single divine pivot, he was lifted from prison to palace, from overlooked to overall. And here is the question: if God could reverse Joseph's entire destiny in one day, why not yours? For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29-11. Your prison today may not be chains of iron, but the silent struggles you have endured, the rejection, the closed doors, the betrayal. Yet your release is closer than your fears can admit. The heavens are shifting. The frequencies of destiny are converging, and doors you thought sealed forever are beginning to creak open. Can you feel the tremor of approaching breakthrough? History itself echoes this truth. Michelangelo, the great Renaissance artist, once said, "The greater danger for most of us lies not in setting our aim too high and falling short, but in setting our aim too low and achieving our mark like his chisel striking marble." God is shaping you through pressure, through trials, into something no one has yet imagined. The cracks you feel in your life are not signs of weakness, but the echo of eternity carving out destiny. And yet, let us not ignore the shadows. The cautionary tale of King Saul, though anointed as Israel's first king, his disobedience, jealousy, and impatience led to his downfall. His story warns us. Chosen does not mean guaranteed. Saul's refusal to wait on God cost him the kingdom. Isn't this the same warning resounding today? What happens if impatience robs you of what was meant to last forever? To obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. 1 Samuel 15:22. The world is shifting even now. Energies are aligning. Kingdoms are trembling. And unseen hands are arranging divine appointments in your path. People who will elevate you are being stirred. Opportunities that once seemed impossible are forming in silence. As Jesus promised, no one can shut the door that he opens. Revelation 3-8. And just as an eagle waits for the perfect current to lift its wings, you are about to ride a wind that does not come by chance. It comes by design. Chosen one. The gates are opening. This is your season of abundance, but also your season of decision. Will you remain still at the threshold, or will you rise into the inheritance heaven carved for you? Now is not the time to shrink back. It is time to stand. It is time to declare. It is the time to walk through the door before it closes again. Stand now, chosen one. This is your hour. The secret God has hidden is now revealed, and it is you. The secret that God has been holding back is finally breaking open. It is your time to rise. Yet the enemy will not stay silent. He whispers lies in shadows, telling you this is too good to be true, that you are not worthy, that the blessing is meant for someone else. But you must silence those voices. You are worthy because God himself has declared it. You are chosen because his call rests upon you. The prophet Isaiah wrote, "I took you from the ends of the earth. From its farthest corners I called you. I said, You are my servant. I have chosen you and have not rejected you. Isaiah 41:9. If he has spoken this over your life, who can cancel it? Who can overturn what the Lord has decreed? Now imagine for a moment a life where you do not merely survive the storms, but rise above them like an eagle locking its wings into the wind. Do you not see how the eagle waits, patient and still, until the invisible current carries it to heights unreachable by flapping alone? That is the picture of the life God is guiding you into. Every step directed, every decision clear, every breath filled with purpose. And the question is, are you ready to stop striving and start soaring? This is not only about wealth or health. It is about a life so abundant that it spills into the lives of others. Your healing will not remain your own. It will echo in the hearts of those who watched you suffer. Your breakthrough will not only set you free, it will break chains for those who once thought freedom impossible. As Jesus said, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden." Matthew 5:14. Could it be that your success, your faith, your radiance is not only for you but to illuminate the way for countless others? Pause here. Close your eyes if you must. Picture the unseen doors God is already unlocking. Hear the clatter of chains falling. See the floodgates of blessing bursting open. Does this feel like imagination? Or does it stir something in your spirit that knows it is real? For the Lord declares, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Jeremiah 29:11. That future is not someday, it is beginning now. But transformation demande préparation. God's call is not only about arrival, but also about readiness. Are you willing to release the past, forgive the betrayers, and walk unburdened into tomorrow? Paul's words resound, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead. Philippians 3:13. Like a tree that must shed its withered leaves before new blossoms can grow, you must release what once drained your life. The old has already served its purpose. The new is waiting to emerge. Think of Esther, the orphaned girl turned queen. She did not understand why she was placed in the palace until the hour of crisis came. In that moment, she chose to risk everything, and her courage saved a nation. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? Esther 4:14. Do you realize that your own placement, your job, your relationships, even your trials may be the exact positioning for a breakthrough far bigger than yourself? The natural world teaches this mystery. The caterpillar cannot imagine the wings waiting inside its struggle. The seed, buried in darkness, cannot fathom the tree it will one day become. What if your pain, your tears, your unanswered prayers were never endings but sacred soil where resurrection life is germinating? And let me bring you to another echo of truth. In Beethoven's Symphonie No. Woo, the opening 4 notes crash like fate knocking on the door. Many critics said those notes symbolized destiny itself, inescapable, indéniable. Is it not the same with the call of God? It strikes again and again, until your soul cannot ignore it. Beloved, this secret is not fantasy, not delusion. It is the divine appointment written over your life. The heavens are already aligning, opportunities already forming. You may even feel it now, a holy restlessness, a pull that something greater is approaching. Jesus himself promised, "I have come that they may have life, and have it to the full." John 10:10. That fullness is breaking in, and it is unstoppable. Chosen one, this is your moment. Do not shrink back. Do not doubt your worth. Stand now. Rise into the destiny God has unveiled. The secret is out, and the world will see it through you. That stirring inside you is not random. It is God adjusting the frequency of your spirit, tuning you like an instrument before the grand performance. Do not dismiss it. Do not silence it. This is your moment. The alignment of eternity with your present reality. Perhaps you are asking, I have heard promises before, why should I believe this one? Because this is not a slogan. It is true. Look carefully at your life's architecture. Every crack you thought would collapse has only revealed a stronger foundation. Every storm you believed would drown you instead taught you to breathe in deeper waters. Was that chance? Or was that divine favor carrying you? God's word declares, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1-9. Can you recall the moments when you thought you would not make it? Yet strength beyond your own appeared. When every visible door slammed shut, did not another open? Often in places you never expected. That is not coincidence. It is resonance. The vibration of heaven intersecting with your story. And it is about to happen again, greater than ever before. Think of life like the physics of resonance. When a structure is struck at its natural frequency, it begins to vibrate with unstoppable force. Right now, your soul is being struck with heaven's frequency, and you are beginning to shake with purpose. Will you resist the trembling, or will you let it carry you into new dimensions? Stay alert, for the signs will not always arrive with trumpets and lightning. They will come quietly, the unexpected phone call, the sudden connection, the door you thought locked forever, swinging open with ease. These are not random. These are heavenly blueprints manifesting in real time. Jesus himself promised, what is impossible with man is possible with God. Luke 18:27. The impossible is not future tense. It is already breaking into your present. And do not overlook this truth. God is not just shifting your circumstances, He is reshaping you. Like an architect chiseling stone for a cathedral, He is not only concerned with what is built around you, but what is being constructed within you. Each trial has been scaffolding, each disappointment a blueprint line etched by the divine hand. Isn't it astounding that what once looked like rubble is actually the foundation for glory? The Apostle Paul wrote, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come, the old has gone, the new is here. 2 Corinthians 5:17. Do you see it now? This isn't just about what is coming, it is about who you are becoming. History itself echoes this. The late Václav Havel, poet and president of the Czech Republic, once said, hope is not the conviction that something will turn out well, but the certainty that something makes sense, regardless of how it turns out. His words remind us that transformation begins not with visible results, but with alignment of purpose. If a man who faced oppression could carry such a vision, how much more can you, chosen by God, walk with certainty in His promises? And yes, you are being called to boldness, to fearlessness, to rise like a warrior, stepping into the final minutes of a battle, not with panic, but with composure born from training. As Hebrews 3:6 declares, the Lord is my helper, I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me? And if mortals cannot shake you, how could doubt, fear, or delay possibly break you now? So, chosen one, make your declaration visible. Comment 777 below, not as superstition, but as a covenant signal that you are aligning with heaven's timing. This number, repeated, becomes a symbol of completeness, of divine orchestration. A visible witness that you are ready for the unveiling of what has long been hidden. Stand now. Lift your head. Step forward with unshakable courage. The secret God has carried is no longer hidden, it is you, and the world is about to see it. You are stepping into a version of yourself that is not only stronger, but wiser, sharper, and more radiant than ever before. The shift will not be hidden. It will be visible for the world to see. They will notice the fire in your eyes, the confidence in your stride, the serenity in your heart. That glow will not come from self-effort alone. It will be God's work shining through you. Remember David, the shepherd boy who was ignored by his family, overlooked by men, but handpicked by God. He was not merely a boy with a sling. He was a king in formation. And isn't that the very picture of your journey? The world may underestimate you now, but heaven already recognizes the crown resting upon your destiny. But why is God shaping you this way? Because this transformation is not for spectacle, it is for purpose. God is preparing you to lead, to inspire, to heal, to be a vessel through which His kingdom moves. The Apostle Paul declared, "We have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us." 2 Corinthians 4-7. When people ask in amazement, "How did this happen?" your answer will be simple: "This is not my doing, but His." Your finances will shift so that generosity flows like a river. Your health will be restored so that energy fuels your dreams. Your heart will be healed so that love overflows into places once marked by pain. Pause for a moment and ask, how powerful will your testimony become when others realize that what broke you yesterday has become the very light that leads them today? Jesus Himself said, "You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden." Matthew 5:14. Your story will be that light, not hidden, but elevated. And here is a truth we often forget: the enemy never remains silent. He will throw distractions, doubts, fears, and temporary setbacks in your path. But those are nothing more than static noise compared to the resonance of God's promise. Scripture assures us, if God is for us, who can be against us? Romans 8:31. And if no power can stand against Him, then what lies could ever stand against you? A modern example: Malala Yousafzai, the young Nobel Peace Prize laureate who faced violence and hatred but rose to become a global voice for education. She once said, "One child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world." Her life shows that even what was meant for destruction can be transformed into a platform for global change. If God could take a wounded girl and turn her story into hope for millions, how much more can He magnify your journey? And yet, history warns us of the opposite path. Take King Herod, who feared losing his power. In his insecurity, he ordered the massacre of innocents, staining his reign with blood and cruelty. His name is remembered not for triumph, but for tyranny, not for building, but for destroying. What a tragic contrast to the chosen ones who embrace God's call. Does it not reveal how vital it is to stand firmly in obedience rather than be consumed by fear? But here is your anchor. God is not asking you to carry this transformation on your own strength. When you feel weak, He becomes your power. When confusion clouds your mind, He is your clarity. When weariness weighs on you, He becomes your rest. As He promised, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." 2 Corinthians 12-9. Isn't it liberating to know that this new version of you is not self-made, but spirit-forged? So, chosen one, rise into this moment. Stand firm. Release doubt. Let go of fear. Align yourself with heaven's decree. The secret is no longer hidden, it is revealed in you. This is your hour. Walk as the testimony. Live as the proof. Stand now. For the world will soon see the mark of God upon your life. Now pause again. Feel the weight of this moment pressing upon your soul, like the silence before a storm. This is not just a message, it is a divine summons. Arriving at the exact second, your spirit was ready to receive it. The secret God has carried in silence is now revealed. You are His chosen. And your breakthrough is unfolding now. Will you dare to believe it? Will you rise to walk in it? Every step you've taken, every season of tears, every lesson carved into your soul was preparing you for this exact hour. God is not improvising with your life. He is orchestrating it like a symphony already written in eternity. His word promises, all these blessings will come on you and accompany you if you obey the Lord your God. Deuteronomy 28:2. Could it be that the blessings you've been waiting for are already in motion? Already moving toward you, like waves rushing toward the shore? Think of Noah. The world laughed as he built an ark on dry land. He chose God's voice over the world's noise. And when the rains finally poured, he was ready. Is that not the same with you right now? The world may not understand the holy work you're building in silence. But heaven says it, and soon, the flood of blessings will not be a rumor, it will be reality. But here lies the greater truth. These blessings are not only for your survival, but for your overflow. Freedom is coming. Freedom from lack. Freedom from worry. Freedom to live the life God designed for you. Jesus declared, I have come that they may have life, and have it to the full. John 10:10. Not a life of scraping by, but a life of abundance. Will you embrace it? Or will you let doubt steal what has already been promised? Nature itself reflects this mystery. The bamboo spends years growing invisible roots before it ever breaks through the soil. But when it does, it shoots upward with unstoppable speed. Isn't that your story? Hidden preparation, silent growth, now ready to explode into visible transformation. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. Habakkuk 2-3. And look at the fingerprints of God around you. The unexpected phone call, the sudden opportunity, the unexplainable stirring in your spirit that whispers, this is it. Are these coincidences or confirmations? Could it be that heaven is aligning every detail in your favor? Romans 8:28 assures us, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. No, cinema has carried whispers of this truth. In the film The Mission, 1986, we see the transformation of a man once driven by violence, who lays down his weapons to become a servant of peace. His journey from sword to cross illustrates that grace does not erase the past, but redeems it, turning shame into testimony. Is that not the same grace now working in you, reshaping your scars into sacred symbols of God's power? And here is the heart of it. You may feel unready, unqualified, not enough. But the truth is, God never called the qualified. He qualifies the called. Paul himself admitted, I can do all this through Him who gives me strength. Philippians 4:13. Isn't it liberating to know that the weight of this transformation does not rest on your shoulders, but on His chosen one? This is not the end, it is the unveiling. Soon your family will feel it, your community will see it, and your story will inspire hope that cannot be denied. Stand now. Walk forward. The breakthrough is not coming someday, it is here. And it is you, chosen ones. This moment is not just a fleeting spark, It is the ignition of a flame that will set your entire life ablaze with divine purpose. God's secret is no longer hidden, it is unfolding before your eyes, rewriting your story with precision. You are not merely standing at a crossroads, you are stepping onto a divine highway, paved by His mercy and marked at every mile with His favor. Can you sense it? The heavens are aligning like synchronized stars, preparing to pour out blessings that will reshape every corner of your reality. Look at your life as it is now. Bills may pile up. Dreams may feel like distant galaxies. Struggles may weigh on you like gravity, but God sees something else. He sees a canvas stretched and waiting for His masterpiece. Every hardship you endured, every tear you shed, every moment you thought you could not go on, were not wasted. They were brushstrokes of eternity, preparing the unveiling of His beauty in you. For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works. Ephesians 2:10. Isn't it astonishing to realize your pain was not random, but pigment for His greater portrait? This transformation is not cosmetic, it is architectural. Picture an old house, worn, broken, sinking at its foundation. Instead of patchwork repairs, God is rebuilding it from the ground up. That is you. Your finances are not just recovering, they are being restructured into stability. Your health is not just mending, it is being renewed with resilience. Your relationships are not merely shifting, they are being realigned, like supporting beams in a heavenly design. Scripture promise. Instead of your shame, you will receive a double portion. And instead of disgrace, you will rejoice in your inheritance. Isaiah 61:7. What you thought was rubble is about to reveal its double glory. Have you considered that what felt invisible was not unseen? God counted every prayer whispered in exhaustion, every cry uttered in silence. Those tears were seeds planted in fertile ground. And now the harvest has come. Those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy. Psalm 126:5. Isn't it breathtaking that your darkest nights are yielding the brightest dawns? Science echoes this truth. In physics, resonance occurs when an object vibrates at its natural frequency and releases a power far greater than its size would suggest. Isn't that exactly what is happening to you? Heaven has struck the tuning fork of your soul, and you are vibrating with a strength that cannot be contained. The world will soon hear the song of your breakthrough, and history offers us modern witnesses. Howard Schultz, the man who built Starbucks from a single coffee shop into a global symbol. He grew up in poverty, often ashamed of his background. Yet he once said, "Dream more than others, think practical. Expect more than others, think possible." If a man could rise from obscurity with vision and persistence, how much more can you, chosen and empowered by the living God, rise into the fullness of your divine calling? But Scripture also warns, transformation comes with responsibility. Moses was once a fugitive, flawed and uncertain, yet chosen to lead. God revealed Himself not in palaces, but in a burning bush, turning weakness into assignment. Does that not mirror your story? You were not chosen because you were perfect, but because you were willing. And the Lord reminds us, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." 2 Corinthians 12:9. Chosen one. The blueprint is complete, the foundation laid, the structure rising. This is not the season for doubt, but the season for building. Your life is no longer a construction site. It is becoming a cathedral where His glory dwells. The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Psalm 118:22. And you, once underestimated, are now rising as a testimony carved in eternal stone. Step into the divine architecture written over your life. Stand. Chosen one, the secret is no longer hidden. It is you, and the world is about to see it. God never saw a fugitive in Moses. He saw a deliverer. When Moses stood before the burning bush, what seemed like the end of his journey became the beginning of his destiny. That's where you stand right now, before your own burning bush. This is not just a moment of inspiration, but a divine encounter shifting the trajectory of your entire life. And the question burns within: will you run from it, or will you step into it? This secret God is revealing is not simply about survival, it is about your authority. You are not here to merely drift with circumstances. You are a co-creator with God, invited to walk in covenant power. Jesus declared, "I have come that they may have life, and have it to the full." John 10:10. That fullness is not postponed for eternity. It is igniting now. Do you realize that every locked door before you is already turning at the sound of his keys? Opportunities for wealth, for impact, for joy, they are not illusions. They are waiting for your yes. And yet, doubt whispers, "I've failed. I've made mistakes. Can this really be for me?" The answer is yes. God does not build on perfection, but on willingness. Think of Peter. He denied Jesus 3 times, collapsing under pressure. Did Christ discard him? No. He became the rock upon which the church was built. Doesn't that tell you your past was never meant to disqualify you, but to prepare you? Every stumble forged resilience, every scar shaped wisdom. Now you are stronger than you've ever been. Imagine walking into a room and eyes turning toward you, not because of your appearance, but because of the light you carry. This is a favor. It cannot be bought or staged. God's presence radiating through. You will draw business partners, mentors, and allies aligned with your purpose. Your presence will speak louder than words. Could it be that your life is becoming the living testimony that others have been praying to witness? This change is not temporary. It is not a patch, but a legacy. The wealth being entrusted to you is not only for your pocket, but for generations unborn. The healing you are receiving will ripple outward, inspiring others to seek the same God who raised you. The peace you are stepping into will become a calming force for those around you. Isn't it powerful to realize you are not just changing your life, but the atmosphere itself? But take heed, the enemy will not sit idle. He will throw distractions, fear, and even people who mock your rise. Scripture reminds us, our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world. Ephesians 6:12. When resistance comes, will you see it as an attack, or as confirmation that you are moving in the right direction? To understand this tension, look at history's warning. King Saul, once anointed, let jealousy consume him when David's light began to shine brighter than his own. Instead of protecting his kingdom, he destroyed his own peace, and his crown was torn away. His story is carved in Scripture as a cautionary tale. Chosen does not mean guaranteed. Do you see the danger of letting insecurity sabotage what God has promised? Yet God assures you, no weapon forged against you will prevail. Isaiah 54:17. Even in your weakest hour, his strength covers you. The Apostle Paul declared, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." 2 Corinthians 12:9. Your authority does not rest on what you can carry, but on who carries you. Modern voices echo this truth. The humanitarian Mother Teresa once said, "I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples." Her life showed how humility can transform into unstoppable influence. If one woman, armed only with faith and compassion, could impact millions. How much more can God do through you, his chosen vessel of authority and light? Chosen one. The signals are everywhere. The idea that suddenly lit your mind, the person who crossed your path unexpectedly, the stirring in your heart you cannot shake. These are not accidents. They are divine signals guiding you forward. Will you overthink them? Or will you act in faith? Will you hesitate? Or will you step boldly into the doors God is flinging open? This is not about what you will gain. It is about who you are becoming. Stand now. Step forward. Claim the authority God has written over your life. The burning bush is before you. And this time, you will not turn away. God is shaping you into more than a receiver of blessings. He is shaping you into a vessel of his power. This means you are not simply holding his gifts. You are carrying his very presence. Every step you take, every word you speak will soon radiate his glory, becoming a mirror of his faithfulness. Your life itself will testify that God's promises are never broken. Think of Daniel in the lion's den. The world expected to watch his destruction, yet God silenced the lions. That is your story. The things designed to devour you, debt, illness, betrayal, will now stand powerless. What was meant to be your end will be the beginning of your triumph. As the psalmist said, "The Lord will fulfill his purpose for me, your steadfast love, O Lord, endures forever." Psalm 138. Can you feel it? The hand of God hovering over your life, protecting, lifting, shielding. You're not waiting for God to move. He is already moving. The secret he could no longer keep is this: your breakthrough is inevitable. The plans he has written cannot be erased. Jeremiah 29:11 reminds us, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Doesn't that sound like the guarantee your soul has been aching for? Picture this: a life where fear no longer cages you. Each morning you rise not with dread but with anticipation, knowing every step is woven into his design. Every obstacle becomes a stepping stone, every setback a setup. Isn't it astonishing that what once crushed you will become the very platform you stand on? Nature itself echoes this truth. The salmon swimming upstream, against currents, against predators, against waterfalls. It pushes forward, not because the journey is easy, but because destiny demands it. Isn't that your story? Every resistance you faced was not to stop you, but to strengthen you for the harvest. And just as the salmon reaches the place it was born to multiply, you are reaching the place where your purpose will overflow into generations. And art has spoken of this transformation too, in Beethoven's Symphony No. 10. Jew. The ode to joy bursts forth after movements of struggle and tension. The music teaches us that joy is not born in the absence of conflict, but in triumph over it. Do you see the reflection? The melody of your life will not end in sorrow, but in a crescendo of glory. Because God himself is the composer. The scriptures affirm it again: those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. Isaiah 40:31. Imagine yourself as that eagle rising higher, catching the invisible winds of God's timing, carried not by effort, but by divine currents. Isn't it freeing to know you are not striving alone, but lifted? You have carried burdens for too long: worries about money, about health, about identity. Yet God whispers, "Cast all your anxiety on me because I care for you." 1 Peter 5-7. Picture a weary traveler laying down a pack that nearly broke his back, finally breathing freely in a meadow of rest. That is you now. The weights are being lifted, not because you earned it, but because you were chosen for a lighter path, chosen one. The fire of His presence is already igniting your bones. This is not only a promise, it is transformation alive in your veins. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. The heavens are shifting. The hand of God is moving. And your life is becoming a masterpiece of His design. Arise now. Do not shrink back. Do not doubt. You were born for this moment. Step into it and watch the glory of God blaze through your story. Your struggles are no longer the defining script of your life. They are only the prologue to your victory. What you thought was the final chapter was simply the opening overture. This moment is about divine alignment, about heaven pulling the scattered fragments of your story into perfect order. Imagine a clock whose gears had been misaligned for years, ticking unevenly, seemingly broken. Suddenly, every cog clicks into place and the mechanism comes alive with precise rhythm. That is your life right now. Every decision, every encounter, every door opening is synchronizing with the rhythm of heaven. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Psalm 23:3. Can you feel it? The hidden structure of your story is being restored. You may not see the full picture, but God is already working behind the scenes, orchestrating with the precision of a master architect the job offer you never expected, the conversation that shifted your spirit, the peace that settled in your heart without explanation. These are His fingerprints. They are scaffolding being set in place for the cathedral He is building out of your life. Doesn't it move you to realize that what looked like chaos was only unrecognized construction? And here is the mystery. You are not chasing blessings anymore. They are chasing you. The psalmist declared, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life." Psalm 23:6. What if the very things you feared were lost forever are now running toward you, faster than you can imagine? What if the opportunities you thought were beyond your reach are already aligned in orbit around your name? This is what sets you apart. You are not only receiving God's favor, you are reflecting it. Your life becomes a mirror of His glory, refracting His light into the dark places around you. When people see you, they will not merely see success, they will see holiness. Isn't it powerful to think that your smile, your peace, your confidence are not just personality traits, but evidence of God's craftsmanship? We all, who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory, are being transformed into His image with ever-increasing glory. 2 Corinthians 3:18. Ruth's story reminds us of this truth. She lost everything: home, husband, security, yet she chose faith over despair. She followed God's lead into a field of barley, not knowing it was the exact place her destiny would unfold. Is that not your moment now? To walk in obedience even when the path looks barren, trusting that destiny is waiting in the ordinary fields of your faith. The Lord rewards everyone for their righteousness and faithfulness. 1 Samuel 26-23. Science itself echoes this divine order. In physics, resonance occurs when frequencies align perfectly, causing small vibrations to build into waves of immense power. Right now, heaven's frequency is colliding with the frequency of your obedience, amplifying your impact. Doesn't it stir your spirit to realize that you are resonating with eternity? And the world has seen this reflected in unlikely places. Maya Angelou, the poet and activist whose early life was scarred by pain and silence, she once said, "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated." Her journey shows us that wounds can become wisdom, and silence can become song. If she could rise from rejection to become a voice for millions, How much more will your life infused with God's Spirit become a testimony that no one can silence? But we must not forget the darker example. King Belshazzar of Babylon once feasted in arrogance, using the holy vessels of God's temple to toast his pride. That very night, the writing appeared on the wall, declaring his downfall. His kingdom was stripped, and his legacy became a cautionary tale. Doesn't this warn us of what happens when pride replaces reverence? And when men mock what God has consecrated, chosen one? Hear this: the Lord will perfect that which concerns me, your mercy, O Lord, endures forever. Psalm 138. The gears of heaven are already turning in your favor. The blueprints are complete. The walls are rising, and your life is becoming not a ruin, but a sanctuary where His glory will dwell. Step into alignment. This is not the echo of a distant promise. It is the reality unfolding before your eyes. The prologue is over. The story of victory has begun. You are standing in your own field of favor right now. The ground beneath you is not barren. It is seeded with promise. God is guiding you into places, toward people, and into opportunities that will rewrite your future with His fingerprints. Trust His leading, even when it feels unfamiliar. For unfamiliar paths often lead to extraordinary destinations. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. Proverbs 3-5-6. Can you feel the path beneath your feet beginning to straighten? This secret God is revealing is about your influence. You were not created simply to survive storms. You were chosen to shift atmospheres. Your words carry weight. Your actions ripple outward. Your faith ignites others. Even when you are unaware, someone is watching your life and drawing strength from your story. Isn't it astonishing to think that your quiet endurance may be the very thing keeping another person from giving up? You may feel ordinary at times, but that feeling is a lie. God does not settle for the ordinary. He transforms the ordinary into extraordinary. Remember Gideon, who hid in fear, yet God called him mighty warrior. Judges 6:12. God is calling out the same hidden strength in you. Do you realize that He sees in you what you have not yet dared to believe about yourself? Every hidden potential, every dormant seed, every untapped gift is now being summoned into the light. Picture this: a life where every morning feels like a new beginning, a life where faith, not fear, makes the final decision, a life where uncertainty no longer chains you, because God's covering has already gone before you. Didn't Jesus Himself say, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world"? John 16:33. If He has already overcome, then are you not walking in a battle that is already won? This transformation is not vague or abstract. It is practical and tangible. Expect letters of provision arriving when you least anticipate them. Expect doors to swing wide in places where you thought the hinges were rusted shut. Expect your mind to grow sharper, your body to grow stronger, your heart to grow steadier. God's blessings are not just feelings. They are realities that will rewrite your days. Isn't it breathtaking to imagine that even the smallest details of your life are being reordered into divine abundance? And history offers modern witnesses of this truth. Nelson Mandela, once imprisoned for decades, yet refusing to let bitterness define him, he famously said, "I never lose. I either win or learn." His life proves that hardship is not a wall but a womb, a place where new strength is born. If God could raise such resilience from a prison cell, how much more will He raise you from the trials you thought would bury you? But Scripture also gives us warnings through those who misused their influence. Think of Pharaoh, who hardened his heart against God's command through Moses. His pride not only destroyed him, but devastated his nation, drowning his army in the Red Sea. What does this teach us? That resisting God's call is not only costly for the individual, but catastrophic for everything connected to them. Could it be that your obedience, unlike Pharaoh's rebellion, is the very key that will unlock deliverance for those around you? Your power does not lie in human weapons or strategies, like David before Goliath. You stand with greater authority. You come against me with sword and spear, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty. 1 Samuel 17:45. Isn't that the posture of your spirit now? No sword in your hand, yet victory already written in heaven's decree. So keep moving. That idea burning in your heart is not random, it is divine instruction. That conversation you have avoided is not trivial, it is a doorway. That prayer you were too weary to speak is not wasted, it is still shaping your tomorrow. For the Lord has promised, no good thing does he withhold from those whose walk is blameless. Psalm 84:11. Chosen one, stand now. Step forward. You are not waiting for favor, you are walking in it. The field of destiny is under your feet, and the world is about to see the harvest God has planted within you. This isn't just about what is unfolding in front of you now, it is about where God is taking you. His secret is a road map, not drawn with human ink, but inscribed in eternity, guiding you into a future that eclipses your past. Every dream you buried, every hope you thought was lost, God is resurrecting. He is not merely restoring what slipped through your hands, He is multiplying beyond what you imagined. See, I am doing a new thing, now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:19. Can you sense the stirring in your spirit? The anticipation of something breaking forth? Think of Lazarus, wrapped in grave clothes for 4 days. Jesus didn't just return him to the life he lost, he gave him a new life with a louder testimony. That's you now. The dreams you thought were too far gone, your confidence, your joy, your purpose are rising again. Isn't it astonishing that God calls you out of tombs you thought sealed forever, into a future radiant with His glory? And here is the key. Your faith is the spark. Scripture affirms, without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to Him must believe that He exists and that He rewards those who earnestly seek Him. Hebrews 11:6. Do you realize that your belief right now is unlocking doors long prepared in heaven's blueprint? The very act of trusting is releasing rewards designed for this exact season. Now picture the impact of your rise. When you step fully into God's plan, it won't just transform your life. Your family will feel the overflow. Your workplace will sense the shift. Your community will witness the evidence of God's hand. You are not merely one individual, you are becoming a movement, a living testimony of what happens when a soul says yes to divine calling. Isn't it humbling to realize that your obedience will ripple through countless lives? But perhaps you ask, how do I know this is for me? The answer is in your very presence here. You are listening. Your heart is stirring. And that stirring is not chance, it is divine orchestration. As Romans 8:10 proclaim, those He predestined, He also called. Those He called, He also justified. Those He justified, He also glorified. Do you see? You are not only called, but also justified. And now you are being glorified. Nature itself speaks of this renewal. The forest after a wildfire, blackened earth, charred remains, silence. Yet beneath the ash, seeds awaken that could not germinate before. New trees rise, stronger, greener, nourished by what looked like destruction. Isn't that your life? What looked like devastation is becoming the soil of your rebirth. Unless a kernel of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains only a single seed. But if it dies, it produces many seeds. John 12:24. And even art has echoed this mystery. In Giuseppe Verdi's opera Nabucco, the chorus of Hebrew slaves sings Va, pensiero, a haunting melody of longing for freedom. That song, born out of exile, became a national hymn of hope for generations. Doesn't it remind you that even in your valleys, God is composing melodies of victory? That the song rising in your soul is not just background noise, it is the soundtrack of deliverance. You've walked through valleys where shadows loomed large, yet here you are still standing. Psalm 23, 4 declares, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. You have not only walked through, you have walked out, and the secret God could no longer keep is this: your life is becoming a symphony, every note building toward a crescendo of power and purpose. Chosen one, Risa now, the tomb has opened. The ashes are stirring. The music of destiny is swelling. Step forward, for the prologue is over. The crescendo has begun. Maybe it was a job loss that stripped you of stability, a broken relationship that tore at your heart, or a dream that seemed to dissolve into thin air. Yet those valleys were never your conclusion. They were laboratories of the soul, divine classrooms, where resilience was hammered into your spirit. God was not abandoning you, He was building you. He was calibrating your inner architecture, reinforcing your foundation like a master builder, designs structures that can withstand earthquakes. The Apostle Paul reminds us in Romans 5:3-4, we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, character, and character, hope. Can you see how every tremor of your life was really a rehearsal for glory? Now you stand on the incline of the mountain, the horizon opening wide before you, and the view from the summit is breathtaking. Your breakthrough is not some distant illusion. It is the apex, the moment when preparation collides with fulfillment. But here lies the question: will you have the strength to step into it fully? This divine shift is not about noise, it is about clarity. Imagine the field of quantum physics, where particles once in chaos suddenly collapse into sharp definition. So it is with your life. Psalm 119, 105 declares, your word is a lamp for my feet, a light on my path. What was once obscured by fog, fear, and doubt is now illuminated with piercing precision, as though heaven itself turned the frequency of your destiny to high resonance. Think of those nights when you prayed until your tears dried, when silence was your only companion, when faith felt like the last fragile thread you held. Did you believe they went unnoticed? Not to God. Every unseen sacrifice was recorded in His eternal ledger. Every act of obedience, though invisible to men, reverberated through heaven like sound waves through the cosmos, creating resonance that now echoes back as blessing. Galatians 6:9 assures us, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. What if your harvest is closer than you think? And now comes the unveiling. God is about to reveal what He has been constructing within you in silence. You are not just rising, you are radiating. Your life is becoming an antenna of divine frequency, broadcasting the reality of God's promises. When you walk into a room, it won't merely be your presence, it will be the calm, the resilience, the sacred vibration you carry. What does it mean that your victory will not end with you, but ripple outward as inspiration for others, just as fire sparks fire? Your faith becomes the ignition point for revival. Pause here and remember Nehemiah, who stood before broken walls and disheartened people. The city was in ruins. Yet brick by brick, he rebuilt. He did not falter because he carried an assignment from God. That is you. You are the restorer of ruins, the rebuilder of walls, the one who turns rubble into sanctuary. Isaiah 58:12 affirms, "Your people will rebuild the ancient ruins and will raise up the age-old foundations. You will be called repairer of broken walls, restorer of streets with dwellings." Could it be that the very pain you endured was the blueprint for the walls you are now called to restore? Chosen one, rise now. This is not the time to shrink back. This is the hour to step forward, to walk in the radiance already ignited within you. Like a symphony reaching its crescendo, your life is moving into divine harmony, where every note finds its place, every silence carries weight, and every movement leads to glory. The breakthrough is not coming, it is here. Stand tall, because the world is about to see what heaven has always known. You were never forgotten. You were always chosen. Your life might feel like broken walls, finances collapsing, relationships scattered, dreams lying in fragments on the ground. Yet hear this: God has not abandoned you to ruins. He is placing tools in your hands, divine instruments of rebuilding, and what you construct in this season will stand firmer than any structure that fell. These aren't just random events, they are the blueprint of a legacy, because what God is building through you isn't confined to today. It is a foundation that will echo into generations. This is about legacy. Chosen one. You're planting seeds that will bloom long after you've left the field. The wealth that is being prepared for you isn't just for your comfort, it is for your children, for your community, for the restoration of futures that they thought were lost. The healing you are stepping into is not just your testimony, it is the evidence that others can rise as well. Ecclesiastes 3:11 declares, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." And now the Spirit whispers your time is unfolding, and it is beautiful. But the question arises, are you ready to carry what you once prayed for? Maybe you've doubted. Maybe you've asked, what if I'm not ready? But hear me, God never calls before He equips. Every sleepless night was training. Every tear was not wasted, but turned into instruction. Every obstacle was a silent teacher, preparing you for this exact hour. You are not walking into this blindly. You are walking in with the full weight of heaven behind you. Can you feel it? The preparation that once felt like pain is now being revealed as strength. Imagine this shift, a life where each decision feels guided, each step infused with holy precision. No longer do you second guess, because you sense God's breath in every movement. That is what's unfolding. Clarity instead of confusion. Direction instead of wandering. Isaiah 40:31 assures us, "Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles." Chosen one, you are not just walking, you are about to soar. And yet, this soaring isn't only about you. It is about the ripple effect that touches everyone in your orbit. When the financial breakthrough arrives, it won't stop with your account. It will ignite the dreams of others. When your health is restored, your endurance will inspire someone who is still in the hospital bed. When your faith rises again, it will spark flames in those whose hearts have gone cold. You are not just a person, you are a movement. A living signal of God's glory carried into the world. But understand this, Every light attracts resistance. The enemy will send distractions, doubts, even trials that claw at your resolve. Yet these are shadows without substance, for you have already walked through nights darker than this. You've already proven that storms cannot drown you. 2 Corinthians 4:8-9 says, "We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed." Do you hear the echo of that truth? You are unbreakable, not because of your power, but because God Himself surrounds you on the world stage. Testimonies mirror this truth. Look at Tyler Perry. Once a homeless man living in his car, rejected and overlooked by many, yet he kept writing, kept believing, and kept pushing forward until the world could no longer ignore his gift. Today, he is not only a successful filmmaker, but also a builder of opportunities for countless others. If a man in the world can turn homelessness into a house of influence, how much more can you, chosen by heaven, rise with God's hand upon your life? So, pause here, feel the weight of it. You are not just surviving, you are radiating. You are not just being restored, you are becoming the evidence that God's promises are living, breathing, unshakable. The room changes when you enter, because the divine frequency you carry cannot be silenced. So, what's your next move? Stay expectant. Watch for the signs. A phone call, an idea, a connection that feels like divine timing. These aren't coincidences. They're the fingerprints of heaven pressing gently on your path. Trust your inner resonance, because faith has a frequency, and when you tune into it, you begin to hear what others miss. Act with courage, because every step you take now is aligning you closer to the architecture of the life God already designed for you. This is not a hesitation season. It's an acceleration season. Your moment is not in the future. It is here. Think of how the river knows its way to the ocean. It doesn't rush. It doesn't panic. Yet every drop inevitably finds its destination. That's your life right now. Even when the terrain seems uneven, the current of God's will is pulling you forward. Or like a tree in springtime, after a long winter of silence, buds appear almost overnight, proof that what was hidden beneath the soil was never dead, only waiting for the right season to emerge. That's your destiny, quietly rooted, now bursting into sight. But can you recognize the season you are in? Or are you still looking for proof when the evidence is already before your eyes? This transformation is about stepping into your authority. You are not just a participant in God's divine unfolding, you are a partner, a co-creator. Heaven places tools in your hands. Just as a master architect lays out blueprints, you're being asked not just to dream, but to construct. Not just to wait, but to build. Your words carry the resonance of creation. Your actions send ripples like vibrations across the fabric of eternity. If heaven has given you the blueprint, will you dare to build what others cannot see yet? Deborah, the prophetess and judge who rose in a time of uncertainty. She didn't wait for validation from others. She trusted God's call and acted with boldness. That's your role now, whether in your family, your workplace, or your community. Leadership is not in a title, but in obedience, your faith, your light, your courage. That's the authority heaven has given you. The great poet Dante, in the Divine Comedy, painted a journey where the soul had to leave the familiar dark woods and ascend toward light, guided, step by something greater than itself. That imagery isn't just medieval poetry, it's prophecy echoing in your own life. You're leaving the confusion of shadowed paths and moving toward the radiance of God's presence. And here's the question: are you willing to leave the woods behind, even if they've become familiar to you? And here's what's coming: a life of overflow, not survival; but abundance, not scarcity, but overflow to give, to heal, to restore. Malachi 3:10 declares, "Test me in this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing, there will not be room enough to store it." Those floodgates are already trembling open over your life. Soon you'll witness it unfold in waves. A financial shift, debts erased, doors opening, a peace so deep it feels like the still waters of Psalm 23 anchoring your spirit. Relationships aligning, bringing people who carry light instead of weight. It won't come as a single flash, but as a cascade like waves, kissing the shore again and again until every part of your life is drenched in divine favor. Chosen one, God's secret is no longer hidden. It is a wind at your back, an unseen current, pushing you toward a horizon painted with promise. This isn't a fleeting breeze, it is the eternal breath of the Creator himself, carrying you exactly where you were always meant to be. It's a divine gale carrying you forward, not as a wanderer tossed by chance, but as one calibrated to heaven's exact coordinates. Think of it like resonance in physics. When two frequencies align, their waves amplify each other. That's what's happening in your spirit. You're not just stepping into the future, you're vibrating with heaven's frequency. And every step is reinforced by his unseen power. It is as though you are walking inside a living cathedral of time, every corridor designed to echo God's intent for you. You've carried questions in your heart, heavy as stone tablets. Why did this happen? Why were dreams delayed? Why did the path feel so jagged? But those questions were never meant to crush you. They were signposts in the architecture of your journey, each pointing to the moment when answers would emerge with clarity. What looked like chaos was God's geometry at work, drafting lines you couldn't see until the blueprint unfolded. This is not confusion, it is divine engineering. The setbacks have been scaffolding, preparing you for the unveiling of something too magnificent to have been rushed. This moment is about restoration. Picture a garden once overgrown, tangled with weeds of doubt and disappointment, now carefully tended. God is not just pulling out the roots of fear and pain, he's replanting the soil with seeds of joy, resilience, and wisdom. It is biology and prophecy converging. Life regenerates when the gardener touches it. Joel 2:25 proclaims, "I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten." Those weren't wasted years, they were compressed seasons, waiting to burst forth in multiplication. You might feel like you've walked through a desert, but deserts are also laboratories of survival. Just as physicists test endurance under extreme pressure, God has tested you in scarcity to refine your inner strength. Now the equation changes. Dryness gives way to rivers. Lack gives way to overflow. Financial doors open like quantum particles, suddenly shifting state. Relationships heal like fractured atoms, finding stability. And your spirit is renewed like oxygen, flooding a weary lung. This isn't a distant forecast. It is the present tense of God's timing. He whispers, "Your season of abundance has arrived." Is not. And here's the deeper revelation: you are not only receiving, you are radiating. Your life is a beacon, like a signal tower, broadcasting invisible waves across the atmosphere. When you speak, frequencies shift in the souls of those listening. When you act, structures seen and unseen reconfigure. Psychologists call it influence, Scripture calls it authority. Either way, Your presence bends the environment around you. You are no longer a spectator. You are the resonance itself. Hannah, who prayed through years of barrenness, she was not abandoned. She was being tuned for a moment that would shake history. Her persistence gave birth not just to Samuel, but to a prophetic lineage that redirected a nation. That's the mystery of delay. Its impact far greater than immediate gratification. And let me offer you a real-world example. Vincent van Gogh, though tormented in mind and misunderstood in life, once said, "Great things are done by a series of small things brought together." He painted in obscurity, yet his brushstrokes became eternal light on canvas. He didn't live to see the overflow of his gift, but time revealed its radiance. In the same way, the seemingly fragmented strokes of your journey are converging into a masterpiece designed by God Himself. So pause and reflect. Could it be that what felt wasted was simply hidden construction? Could it be that the silence was not absence, but tuning? Could it be that every unanswered question was preparing you for the sound of this moment, the revelation that your life is no longer wandering, but resonating in harmony with God's perfect design? Chosen one. This is the secret unveiled. Your voice is no longer an echo. It is the trumpet. You're not meant to stay silent. Your story, your faith, your truth, they were never designed to be hidden in the shadows. They were meant to be heard, to shake atmospheres, to awaken hearts, whether it's inside your family, within your workplace, or even on the global stage. God is raising your voice as a platform. Every word you release will carry weight, not because of eloquence, but because heaven backs it. Words that inspire, words that break chains, words that light paths in the dark. You're not just chosen, you're commissioned. Yet the battle begins with doubt. How many times have you whispered to yourself, "I'm not enough, I don't have the strength, who would even listen?" But those thoughts are not your truth. God does not measure you by the yardstick of this world. He measures by the posture of your heart. Look at Jeremiah, a young man trembling at the enormity of his calling, and yet in Jeremiah 1-5, God declared, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." That's your reality. You were consecrated long before fear ever whispered. Think of the architect who draws blueprints for cathedrals centuries before they are built. That is God's design for you. He has already drafted the resonance of your life, every curve and cornerstone, knowing that even if storms batter the structure, the foundation stands unshaken. Isn't that why you're still here? Why didn't every trial destroy you? Because His framework in you cannot collapse. And while we see heroes, let us not ignore villains. Bernie Madoff, once praised as a financial genius, his empire, built on deceit, collapsed into ruin, destroying thousands of lives and leaving his name synonymous with betrayal. That is the destiny of those who oppose truth. They rise fast but fall harder. Contrast that with you. Every challenge you've endured has not been a collapse, but a recalibration. Proof that God is aligning you for something lasting. Now picture this, a life where every challenge transforms into opportunity, where obstacles no longer intimidate, but confirm that God's already cleared the unseen path. This is what's unfolding before you. Your confidence is not drawn from skill or wealth, but from covenant. Psalm 18:2 says, "The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer." With Him as your foundation, nothing, no storm, no betrayal, no lie can shake you. And this is not just about today's provision, it is about tomorrow's inheritance. The wealth that is being prepared is not just for spending, it is for building legacies. The peace rising in your soul is not only to comfort you, it is to restore others. The strength you're gaining is not for pride, it is for lifting the weary who can no longer stand. You are not simply blessed, you are a blessing, a living conduit of God's frequency flowing into the earth. But don't be naive, the enemy will not applaud this rise. He will send whispers of doubt, unleash shadows of chaos, and sometimes disguise people to stand against you. Yet, even these are tests, designed to reveal your resilience. You've faced worse and come through fire without the smell of smoke. And remember Ephesians 3:20. Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, that power, living inside you, is untouchable. So, chosen one, what do you do now? Do you shrink back into silence? Do you wait until you feel ready, or do you step forward, trembling but obedient, knowing heaven has already crowned your yes? The dream you've carried all these years is not an illusion. That step you feared taking is the doorway. The world is not waiting for perfection, it is waiting for your obedience. That prayer you've whispered, pray it louder. Like the first seed pushing through hard soil to find the sun, your voice carries life. God's movement is like the tide. It waits for you to step forward so he can carry you further than your feet could ever take you. Every act of faith is not just a step, but a ripple that turns into a wave, drawing you closer to the life he's promised. But if you stay silent now, how will you ever touch the promise already reaching for you? Don't wait. Step forward now. God's transformation is about your vision. Like an eagle soaring higher than the storm clouds, you are being lifted to see from a perspective few ever glimpse. God is opening your eyes to perceive what others call impossible. Hidden doors are being revealed. Roads no one else sees are forming beneath your feet. Where most see barren desert, you see an oasis forming. Where most see dead branches, you see green shoots ready to burst forth. This is not an ordinary sight. It is spiritual clarity. Think of Elisha, who stood on a battlefield where his servant trembled in fear. While others saw only an army pressing in, Elisha's eyes were opened to the flaming hosts of heaven encircling them. That same vision is being given to you now. Where others see obstacles, you see the scaffolding of God's design. Where others see lack, you see provision flowing like an underground spring. Art echoes this truth. In Victor Hugo's Les Misérables, Jean Valjean once sang, "To love another person is to see the face of God." That's not just poetry, it's prophecy. When your vision is aligned with heaven, even in the darkest streets, you will see the face of God in places others would miss. And that vision becomes your weapon, your compass, your authority. But if your eyes close again, what will happen to the world waiting for the light only you can reveal? This clarity is your power. It guides you to make choices in harmony with his eternal rhythm. Imagine a forest that looks silent from afar, but within it, every root and leaf is connected, carrying life through unseen channels. That's your spirit now, wired into God's hidden network, pulsing with divine instructions. And here's what's coming: a life of impact, not just surviving, but thriving in a way that rewrites legacies. Your success will fund visions that outlive you. Your healing will plant seeds of faith in those who have given up hope. Your obedience will ignite fires of revival in forgotten places. God is not just changing your circumstances. He is using you as the instrument of change for a generation. As Matthew 5:16 declares, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." This is your call, not to hide, not to shrink back, but to radiate. And maybe you feel the urgency in your chest right now. That's not fear. That's destiny knocking. Can you sense it? It's why you're here. Why your soul leans forward at these words. Don't shrink back. Don't doubt. You were forged for this. Every trial was a hammer strike shaping you into a vessel of glory. And when blessings come, they will not trickle. They will crash like waves. First, a financial release that feels like a prison door breaking open. Then, a relationship was restored, filling cracks you thought were permanent. Then a calling that blazes like fire through your bones. This is not a fleeting moment. It is a season of overflow. Every dimension of your life is about to be touched by the hand of God. Get ready. It has already begun. Chosen ones. God's secret is no longer hidden. It is the river beneath your feet, carrying you toward a shore of promise. And when you finally arrive at that shore, will you recognize that the current guiding you was never chance, but His hand all along? This is no small ripple. It is a current of eternity. It's not just a tide. It's a gravitational pull of eternity, sweeping you into a season where every moment vibrates with divine frequency. You're not drifting aimlessly like cosmic dust scattered in space. No. You're being carried like a satellite locked into orbit by the Creator's hand, pulled toward the exact coordinates where your purpose burns brightest. This is not randomness, it is resonance. Just as physics teaches that resonance amplifies sound when frequencies align, so your soul is now aligning with heaven's pitch, amplifying your destiny beyond recognition. This is your time to anchor in His architectural plan, the blueprint drafted before foundations of the earth were ever laid. You have faced storms, violent, merciless, chaotic storms that tested the tensile strength of your spirit like a skyscraper swaying in hurricane winds. Every crash of the waves, every gust of the tempest threatened to pull you under. Yet in psychology, resilience isn't formed in calm, it's forged in trauma, recovery, where the mind learns new pathways. Spiritually, those storms weren't meant to drown you. They were divine laboratories, training you in navigation, showing you how to recalibrate when compasses broke, teaching you balance when everything shook. Now the waters are stabilizing, the chaotic oscillations settling into equilibrium, and your destination is breaking through the horizon. The breakthrough you longed for is closer than the next heartbeat. This divine moment is not collapse, it is awakening. Picture a seed buried beneath the dark compression of soil. On the surface, it looks lifeless, but underground, pressure activates cellular blueprints until a crack forms and life erupts toward the light. That's your spirit right now. God has been stirring latent DNA, igniting codes you didn't know were embedded within you. A clarity, a strength, a fire you never knew you carried is breaking the surface. As Psalm 139:14 proclaims, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. You are not an accident. You are the Creator's magnum opus, His masterpiece, and He is unveiling you piece by piece like Michelangelo, chiseling the hidden David from a block of stone. You may have felt overlooked, as if history's spotlight passed you by, as though your sacrifices dissolved into silence. But nothing escaped heaven's surveillance. God has tracked every hidden act of obedience, every quiet midnight prayer, every sacrifice unnoticed by men. In systems theory, small inputs compound into exponential outcomes. Every unseen choice was a building block, a modular piece, and now God is stacking them into a foundation for your future, an architecture of steel and stone, unshakable, earthquake-proof, calibrated for the weight of glory He is about to place upon it. And here is the paradox that makes your rise powerful. You are not just ascending, you are amplifying. Your very existence is becoming a broadcast tower of faith, like a lighthouse piercing fog. Your peace shines as signal, your joy as frequency, your strength as resonance when you step through doors that only God could have unlocked. Observers will notice. Their eyes will not merely see you, they will see the reflection of Him. This truth was echoed by Steve Jobs, the visionary co-founder of Apple, who once said, "The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." Jobs was speaking of innovation, but heaven was always speaking of revelation. You, chosen one, are the evidence that divine impossibilities can become earthly realities. Think of Jonah, swallowed whole, entombed in the whale's belly where light vanished. It seemed terminal. Yet in physics, pressure does not only destroy it, also preserves. Deep under the ocean, where no man can breathe, God was incubating Jonah's second chance. That chamber wasn't his grave, it was his reset. And that's you. Those dark seasons you thought would suffocate you, they were protective cocoons. Those lowest points weren't your end, they were your recalibration, your holy redirection. Sopose, breathe. Look back at the trajectory of your storms, your soil, your shadows. Every chaos was construction. Every silence was a strategy. Every collapse was choreography. God has been composing a symphony in frequencies the world could not hear, but you were vibrating with it all along. Chosen ones, the truth can no longer remain hidden because the hour has come. What God placed inside of you is not small, not ordinary, not accidental. It is the very secret of His kingdom breaking into the world through your life. Heaven has been silent long enough, but now the veil is lifted, and you are being called to step into the fullness of who you are. Every battle you endured, every tear you shed, every silent night when you thought God forgot you, it was all preparation for this moment of unveiling. This secret is not about power for yourself, but about becoming a living testimony of His glory. You are the evidence that God still raises the unlikely, still transforms the overlooked, still crowns the faithful in due season. And now, your life is the scroll others will read when they ask, "Does God still move today?" Yes, because they will see Him in you. So, I urge you, chosen ones, if this message resonated in your spirit, if you feel the fire of recognition stirring inside, then act. Like this video, share it with those who need light, and comment below to seal your faith and alignment. Subscribe so you will not miss the next revelation. Heaven is preparing for you. These are not just words on a screen, they are divine instructions to help you rise into your assignment. To those who have supported you through, super thanks. I bless you with double honor. Your seed is seen, and your faith is recorded in heaven's ledger. And to every viewer, whether you gave or not, I extend my deepest gratitude. Your presence here is not coincidence, it is covenant. I leave you with this blessing. May the Lord surround you with favor as with a shield. May your hidden battles become visible victories. May your secret prayers erupt into public testimonies. And may the God who could no longer hide His secret from you now flood your life with revelation, protection, and unstoppable breakthrough. In Jesus' name, Amen.